Hi everyone, Jennifer Blevins-Smith with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Today I want to talk about a bookkeeper versus an accountant. A lot of people don't think about this when they're starting their medical practice because it's not really needed at the moment, usually. However, I feel it is in the best interest of most practices to have either a bookkeeper and or an accountant on hand and assigned to you that you've hired to work on your business account. Now, an accountant is usually the first thing people think of, right? Like, I need an accountant. They're going to help guide me with certain things when it comes to taxes. They're going to help me file taxes. They're going to let me know what I can and cannot write off, things like that. But a lot of people don't consider maybe having a bookkeeper. Your accountant might do bookkeeping, and that would be fantastic if it can all be one person. However, a lot of them do not, but they can often refer you to bookkeepers that they work with or that they trust, which is a very important consideration. Having a strong accountant in any business is going to be in your benefit. Having a very good bookkeeper is going to be even better. Now, if you're a one provider practice and you don't order a ton of supplies and you don't have a lot of overhead, a bookkeeper might not be appropriate for your business. However, if you have multiple moving parts with different providers that have to be paid and you order a lot of supplies or you're multi-specialty, things like that, it would probably be good to have a bookkeeper that works closely with your accountant because that's less that you have to do. It's less that your manager would have to do. I had a great relationship with our bookkeeper as the office manager, and we were in constant contact throughout the week about multiple different things. And this was in all three of the practices that I managed because I was the integral part when it came to knowing what was ordered, what came in, if it was okay to pay certain bills and invoices. They would need to know if there was an error on something, why it happened, and ask me further questions. And sometimes it was my mistake and they caught it and we were able to fix it. Other times they missed something and I was able to help them identify that so they could fix it. We worked really, really well together. And the bookkeepers worked really well with the accountants because they were the ones that had to get them all the documents that they needed and all the stuff that I don't want to do because accountants are very special, in my opinion. God bless them. They have difficult jobs. They love their jobs usually and they're good at their jobs, but that's why I'm not an accountant, right? That's why I do what I do and they do what they do. I have seen practices use accountants that are not specialized in healthcare or medical businesses, and then I've seen ones that are. And it just kind of depends. However, if you can find an accountant that specializes in accounting for medical practices and they have other clients that are medical practices, I think that's a benefit to you. They know kind of the little nuances when it comes to supply ordering, vaccine returns, credits on vaccines that you return, the taxes, the laws that go with it. I think that's in your benefit because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know most of that stuff. I mean, I know the stuff I need to know to communicate to them, but I don't know the tax laws. I don't pay attention to what can be written off and what can't. I just supplied the reports and the information that they asked for, which I was happy to do, but they knew what to look for. They knew what to ask for, and it was fantastic. It was a really good system because it used my knowledge, my expertise in conjunction with their knowledge and their expertise, and it just, got everything to where it needed to be. I met with a bookkeeper at one job once a week. We went through all the invoices that I received through the week. I'd put receipts with invoices. They would sit down, put it in their QuickBooks or whatever it was, ask me the questions they had. They confirmed that I received all of the stuff on the packing slip that I attached to the invoice, and the receipt to make sure that it was okay to pay, and we went through that whole workflow. And once we got that established really well, our meetings were a lot shorter and things were humming really well. And the accountant appreciated it because she knew that the information coming off the books from the bookkeeper was accurate because I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. We were communicating internally together that everything matched and was good. And then she had the confidence from our experience working with her that when she was being handed something, she could just use it and not question it. Of course, she was a third set of eyes that if there was something kind of wompy or whatever, it was a good checks and balances system, but it was very rare that there were any issues. It also gave the owners peace of mind knowing that we had a very strong, solid workflow in place, that we worked well together, we communicated well together, that they communicated well together, and everything just kind of harmonized because we were organized, because we communicated well. So it was in our benefit, even with a 3 provider practice, 2 FTEs, 1 PTE, and about 5 employees in family practice, that we had an accountant and a bookkeeper. Of course, in my big allergy asthma practice that I helped manage across 4 different states, 13 locations, I definitely needed a bookkeeper and accountant. But again, it just depends on your situation. However, it's something that I think you should consider after you look at your situation. Maybe you've tried doing it yourself. It's a lot of extra work. You could be focusing on patient care. You could be focusing on other aspects of the practice that need to be managed or that needs some help. And you can pass this on to someone who actually does this for a living. If you have any questions or comments about choosing a bookkeeper and or an accountant to work on your behalf for your business, please let me know in the comments below. Smash the thumbs up button if today's video was helpful. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and please share this video with your colleagues whom you feel would benefit from the information. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.